I'm sorry. I might have said some
Praise love.
shit.
Yeah. Praise love. Praise love.
Hello, I'm RicoR, a DIY recording artist based in Santa Cruz, and I'm going to talk about my song, Praise Love.
You know, praise love and those who much rather respect. Praise love and hope and freedom.
So, Praise Love, it came from a poem that I wrote years ago, and I recently rediscovered it because I opened up an old notebook I hadn't used in years, and I found the poem, and I totally forgot that I wrote it. So I read through the poem and I thought, man, this could make a really good song. And also I remember thinking that back when I wrote it. As soon as I read it again, all those memories came back to me, so I decided, you know what, it can make a really good song. I wrote it down in my songbook, and I only changed the first line. The original poem was, praise love and all those who judge us and hate us, and so praise love because love is important, you know. Praise love and those who much rather respect. Praise love and hope and freedom connect. Praise love and all there or everything else there is to say. Praise love because love seems to be floating away. Praise love. That was the whole poem. So I just changed the first line because I didn't like it. So instead of praise love and all those who judge us and hate us, and so now I have praise love x hatred from the so, which I think is really cool. And it basically means like just get rid of hatred in all facets, you know. That's kind of where the song originated, and I just wrote the verses and then recorded it right after that, not too long ago, at time of recording, obviously, but yeah, those verses are just about a specific situation I was in recently, so it's kind of a little bit of a juxtaposition between the chorus, which comes from this poem, and so the chorus was just kind of broad, and then the verses, which are actually very specific. But I feel like compared or like in partnership with the chorus, it's a nice little juxtaposition where like the verses are very personal and the chorus is less so personal, and I feel like that combination works really well for the song.
Praise love.
The mix, it's just kind of my standard like improv in the moment. I had no idea how I was going to record it. All I had was the poem and the lyrics. And honestly, those are kind of my favorite rap songs to record, where I have nothing pre-planned. It's all just kind of in the moment. I feel like that goes a long way. It's super fun. So it was just me sitting at my desk. I had no idea how to record it, so I just came up with a really basic kind of fun beat. I always try to come up with different beats for every song, so it sounds unique, and I feel like that worked pretty well. And then I included a sample, and that is a sample. If you listen to it, it may not necessarily, like, you'll be like, what the heck is that? And for the most part, you won't be able to hear what it is. But the sample is actually from a movie made by a German filmmaker named Uwe Boll. And he has a movie on Auschwitz, the concentration camp. And there's a clip in that movie where he is playing a Nazi, and they are in the kind of undressing rooms before they go into the gas chambers, they of course being the people targeted in the movie. It's a very real depiction of what actually happened in Auschwitz. Probably like one of my favorite Holocaust depictions. The whole movie is like an hour and a half long, but the sample comes from the scene where they're in the undressing room and he is yelling at the people to take their clothes off and go into the shower as fast as possible. So the German line is, Ausziehen, Hose aus, dadurch in die Dusche da. He does it way more aggressively than that, obviously, but that translates to clothes off, pants off, go into the shower over there. That's kind of the rough translation. So, of course, it's kind of like the signature moment in the Holocaust that kind of signifies the Holocaust, is the signature moment in the targeting of dissidents, you know, to use the Nazi term, having them strip and having them take their clothes off and be gassed. That is the signature still to this day of, you know, the atrocity known as the European Holocaust, but also something that can be recognized as kind of a broader indicator of just overall discrimination and targeting of minorities and gassing, specifically gassing, obviously, of minorities. So I decided to put that in there. First of all, because I was just feeling really creative, but also because I feel like the sample mixed in with a very lighthearted and freestyle acapella rap beatbox thing that, like, in essence sounds really lighthearted, and most people listening to the song will just assume it's lighthearted because they're not going to understand what the sample is. And I kind of like that obscurity too, the fact that it's the sample that if you dig deeper into what it actually says and what it is, then it gives the song a whole new meaning. But there's a really, like, you know, sad, emotional kind of contrast between, like, this really happy song that's very freestyle and beatbox-esque, but then there's actually a sample from the Holocaust in the background. And that's also the last thing you hear. And at time of recording, my album, Message to the People, will be coming out soon. And this track, Praise Love, will be the track before my track, Optimist Avenue, which if you haven't heard it, check it out. That's one of my singles I also released before Praise Love, so check that out. That's also on streaming. But that starts with a guitar intro, so the idea on the album is it's going to be Praise Love going straight into that guitar intro. And at time of recording, I haven't heard exactly what that sounds like, but I know it's going to sound really cool. And that was also kind of the idea behind it. So, like, the last thing you hear is this, like, very aggressive indicator of discrimination, going straight into a song that's about the importance of peace, which, once again, Message to the People, the overall theme of the album, not talking about the album, but the overall theme of the album is love and peace. And every song speaks to that and the importance of that. So that was kind of the whole mentality around this. So it's very much inspired by, like, that whole idea in Praise Love is kind of inspired by bands like Maroon 5, with, like, Hands All Over, that album, where most of the lyrical content is super sad and dark, but the music is really happy. So, like, those artists that do that kind of juxtaposition, I always found really fascinating, especially recently. So Praise Love and having that Holocaust sample in the background is kind of an ode to that. If you guys are interested in Holocaust movies, I encourage you to check out Auschwitz. It's a very, very heartbreaking depiction, but very strong and very powerful. And it's also, once again, an ode to my second home, Germany, having probably the biggest association with Germany in there, which of course is Nazism. So yeah, that's a little bit about the song in a nutshell, but without further ado, I hope you enjoy Praise Love.
Hope and freedom connect. Praise love and everything else there is to say. Praise love because love seems to be floating.